Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome to the new lecture about complex numbers. I hope you have seen complex numbers before as well. Let's recall them, and if you have not seen, don't worry, I will do it in details and you will get it. Um, Basically, where we get this complex number from, if you come up with this equation x plus 1 x square plus 1 equal to 0. If you need to solve this, then x square is equal to -1, and you know that there is no real number whose square is negative. Is there any real number whose square is negative? The answer is no, right? So it means, what should we do if we come up with these type of equations? So to solve these type of equation, we take the help from complex numbers. Okay, so basically this number which is written here, if I solve this, x will become square root of -1, right? If I take the square root on both sides, this square root of -1 is defined as iota. Okay, we pronounce is as iota. It's not an English letter, it's written as I, but it's a Latin letter iota. So iota is a complex number whose square is negative. Iota square is -1. So basically, whenever you study complex numbers are written as x plus minus iota y, or a plus minus iota b. So this is the same thing which I told you, how to get iota from this equation, x square plus equal to -1. These notes are in very detail, so I am doing it in short. I'm not touching every detail of this one. You can easily see what is going on. So basically, a complex number is a number of the form a plus b iota. Okay, so every time you have a real number I plus another real number b, and but the second real number is written with iota, that's how we know that this is a and b are both real numbers. Okay, and we usually write a complex number as z1, z2, z3 and so on. Okay, this number a is called the real part of z because it has no iota with it, so this is called the real part. Okay, and b is called the imaginary part without iota, only b. Both a and b are real numbers. They are called real and imaginary parts of a and b. We write them as re for real part and im for imaginary part, in short. Okay, now you should know what is iota. We know iota square is -1, so you should have more powers of iota as well. For example, if I am going iota cube gives you minus iota. Why? Because iota cube can be written as iota square into iota. Iota square is -1, so you got minus iota. So every power of iota is either +1 or -1, plus iota and minus iota. You take any power of iota, your answer will end up at 1, -1, iota, minus iota. These are the four possibilities. Iota 4 gives you +1. Iota 5 gives you iota. Iota 6 gives you -1. Iota 7 gives you minus iota. You see, all the answers are either +1, -1, plus iota or minus iota. So after getting this value, the another definition is the conjugate of a complex number. What is a conjugate of a complex number? Conjugate of a complex number is, if a complex number is given to you, you just change the value of iota. Okay, that gives you the conjugate. The conjugate of a complex number is obtained by changing the sign of the imaginary part. That's it. So if your iota is, so only concentrate on the things which I am going through. These details are not very necessary which are written here. Okay, so conjugate of a number is, if 2 plus 3 iota is a number, then 2 minus 3 iota will be the conjugate. Only change the sign of imaginary part, not the real part. Real part remains the same, imaginary part becomes minus. So if it is minus, it will become plus. If you see 1 minus iota, so conjugate will become 1 plus iota. And bar is the notation. We only put a bar on top. Z bar gives you the conjugate of the bar. These are the properties of conjugates. If z is a real number, then z and z conjugate are the same, because there is no imaginary part, so we will not change the sign of anything. Okay. Similarly, if you take the pure imaginary number where there is no real part, the conjugate will be negative of z. The proofs are given here. You can check the proofs, very easy. Okay. This is a very good property. If you take two conjugates, means if you take z conjugate, you get another number. If you take another conjugate, you will get your z back. Two conjugates give you your complex number back. See, this is the proof which is given here. So these exercises are very easy. You can check them. The next thing is geometrical representation of a complex number. How can we geometrically recognize a complex number? We recognize complex numbers as R2 plane, XY axis. On X axis we call it a real axis. We put A here, we locate the real part here and imaginary part on Y axis. So they are called real and imaginary axis. X axis is called real axis and Y axis is called imaginary axis. So it means B will come on Y axis, A will come on X axis, and if you pick up this point gives you a complex number. Okay, so sometimes we derive complex number by these points A, B, or sometimes by the vector as well. Some authors say that this vector is a complex number. Basically, this is a complex number as a vector from origin to the point AB. This is a complex number A plus iota. A plus iota. Okay. Then the modulus. As we are saying that z can be represented as a vector, you know that vector has a length. Length is called the modulus of a vector. Similarly, complex numbers also have a modulus. What is the modulus? If you have, again, this is a proof, not necessary. You can just look at this definition. Okay, this is the modulus. If z is a plus b iota, then the a square plus b square square root is the z mod. Doesn't matter if you have plus or minus here. Even if you have a minus here, still you will get a square plus b square, because we put minus b inside the square. Okay, so if your modulus of any complex number is 0, then your complex number is 0. You cannot have 0 modulus unless your complex number is 0. Similarly, if your complex number and your conjugate of the complex number both have the same conjugate. As I said, even if you have minus here, your conjugate will remain the same. You know, minus is z conjugate. So z and z conjugate have the same modulus. Z and minus z also have the same modulus. Why? Because minus does not change anything. If you make both of them minus, minus go in the squares. So inside the square minus becomes plus. So again you get the same mod. Got the idea? So this is the modulus, which is very easy, which is length of the vector as well, which is the modulus. Okay. The next thing is equality of two complex numbers. If two complex numbers are the same, then the corresponding numbers should be the same. If A is equal to B and D is equal to D, then we say that these complex numbers are equal. Okay, so B and D should be equal and A and C should be equal. See, A, C and D should be equal. Then means real part is equal to real part, imaginary part is equal to imaginary part. Then two complex numbers are equal. Similarly, when we can add two complex numbers, adding means when you are adding two numbers, add real in real and add complex in complex. So A will be added in C, B will be added in D, and iota comes here. So every time when you get two complex numbers, you can add them, you can subtract them, you can multiply them as well. Okay, so what is the subtraction is of course the addition, that's not a problem. Subtraction is addition, it's very easy. Subtraction is easy. uh, the next thing we should concentrate on the uh, multiplication of complex numbers. That can be little challenging, not difficult, but multiplication is challenging. So where is the multiplication? uh, Before multiplication, let me introduce argument of a complex number. What is the argument? As I said, complex number can be treated as a vector, right? If this point is AB, then this vector is complex number A plus iota B. The angle which may the length of this line is modulus of z, right? So the mod gives you the length. The angle which this makes with the real axis is the argument of z. Okay, so the argument of z is the angle which this makes with the positive x-axis. This is called the argument, and we write it arg for that. Argument of z, arg of z. Okay, so what is the argument? Argument is this angle, and you know this angle is very easy. You can use tangent to find this angle, because if this is theta, then tangent theta is b over a, right? So if you take tangent inverse of b over a, this gives you the argument of z. So z has two things, argument and modulus. So you will have the length, which is called r, and the argument is theta. So your r is the length of the curve, which is the mod of z. These are the same r and theta from the polar coordinates. You remember the polar coordinates? Anyway, the theta is argument of z. Okay, and the formulas are given, of course. This is theta, and r was a square plus b square. This is r. Anyway, how to multiply? This is the simple multiplication. You have two numbers here, two numbers here. So it means a should multiply with c, and then a should multiply with d. Then b should multiply with c, b should multiply with d. Right? So if you multiply a with c, you got ac. Then a multiplied with d, so you got adi. Then b multiply with c, you get bc. Then b multiplies with di, then bdi square, because there are two i's, bi di, so it means bdi. I square, iota square is minus 1, so this will become minus bd. Iota square is minus 1, so this becomes minus bd. So you got ac without iota and bd without iota. So we collect without iota terms and we collect iota terms. So these middle two terms will collected here, first and the last term will collect here. So again you see you got something with iota and something without iota. So multiplication is also a complex number. You can multiply here, it's very easy. You see a plus 2i, a minus 3i. So a with 1 is 1, 1 with 3 iota, then 2 with 1 and 2 with 3 iota. Okay, so two things got without iota and 2 with iota. So you got 7 minus iota. So multiplication of two complex number is also a complex number. Similarly, you can do these two examples as well. These are done here. You can just check. Okay, so similarly, if you are dividing two complex numbers, you cannot leave it like this, because every time your answer should be represented as a plus b iota, x plus y iota. Every time you should have something real plus another real times iota. Okay, so whenever you get complex numbers, you should end up getting this thing. So if you are getting two numbers, a plus b iota, c over d iota, we cannot leave iota in the denominator. We cannot leave iota in the denominator. So what we do, we multiply and divide by the conjugate of the denominator. Whatever you have in the denominator, we take the conjugate. So if you multiply and divide by the conjugate, then this is simple multiplication. You see, if you multiply a with c, a with d, b with c, b with d, and so on. But in the denominator, you see, you have c plus d, c minus d. You remember there is a, so if you multiply, you got this without iota, this with iota, but the denominator becomes c square minus d square. You see, you have a formula, a minus b, a plus b is a square minus b square. So you get c square minus d square iota square. Iota square is minus 1, so it will make it c square plus d square. So whenever you multiply any number by its conjugate, if you multiply any number by its conjugate, it becomes a square plus b square, which is square of the mod. A square plus b square, which is the square of the mod. Okay, so this is how you got. So now you divide this by this number and this by this number. So you see, you got something without iota and something with iota, and both are real numbers. You see, these both are real numbers, one without iota, one with iota. So that's your division. That's how you divide to complex number. You can see this as an example. 3 plus iota, you multiply the denominator, 3 plus iota as it is, 4 minus 2 iota becomes 4 plus 2 iota, 4 plus 2 iota. Now you multiply these two numbers and these will become 16 plus 4, because 4 square plus 2 square, this becomes 4 square plus 2 square, which is 20. 16 plus 4 is 20, right? And here it becomes 12 minus 2, which is 10, and then 6 plus 4, 10. So now 10 by 20 plus 10 by 20, so you got half plus half iota. That's how you divide two complex numbers. Okay, simple property. You can just, don't need proof, just remember this property of complex number. That's it. So the properties are, if you divide two complex number, take the mod. You can take the mods and divide. You can separate them. Okay. Similarly, the property of distributive property, you can also check the distributive properties. If you have two numbers associative, all properties exist here. These are easy things. One good thing about complex number is r and theta is you can represent your complex number with r and theta. This is called the polar form of the complex numbers. Polar form of complex number. What is the polar form? If your complex number is a plus iota b, and you can find z mod, right? Z mod is what? A square plus b square square root. We can call that r. And similarly, you can find argument of z, which is tangent inverse theta, right? That you can call theta, right? Then your z, which is a plus iota b, can also be written as r, which is your mod, into cos theta plus iota sine theta. Cos theta plus iota sine theta. This is called the polar form of complex number. This is very helpful. We have a formula which is called De Moivre's formula. De Moivre's formula says that, you can Google that as well. Moivres. De Moivre's formula. What is De Moivre's formula? That if you take any power of z here, then r will get the power n, but inside, let's say you take the power n here, I'm using some other thing. If you take the power n here, and power n come here, right? But this power n changes to this one, which I'm going to write now. Let me change color back to blue. This becomes cosine n theta. This n power comes with theta. this will gets multiplied and theta gets multiplied with n. It's a very simple power. You see, it will make your life very easy. Plus iota sine n theta. It becomes very easy taking the powers of complex numbers. If you take the power 10 of a complex number, it's very difficult. Why? Because you need to multiply z by itself 10 times. It is a huge work, right? But using this De Moivre's formula, it becomes very easy. For example, you have z equal to, let's say, 1 plus iota, right? You can find r and theta here. R is 1 square plus 1 square. If you find r, 1 square plus 1 square becomes square root of 2. So you got square root of 2 outside, right? And then cos theta. What is theta here? Theta is tangent inverse 1 by 1, right? Tangent inverse b by a. Tangent inverse 1. Tangent inverse 1 is pi by 4, right? So you got 45 degree tangent pi by 4. So we got cos pi by 4 plus iota sine pi by 4. So this is your polar form of 1 plus iota, right? So whenever you have to convert your number to a polar form, find r and theta and write r cos theta plus iota sine theta. Now if you want to find r to the power, let's say 8, I can easily find that from De Moivre's theorem. De Moivre's theorem says that, okay, get 8 power of r outside, but inside your angle will multiply by 8. 8 into pi by 4, because n multiplies inside, plus iota sine 8 into pi by 4. Okay, and now if you simplify, you will get 2 to the power 4 outside, which is 16, because square root of 2 power 8 becomes 2 power 4, which is 16, and inside 4 2s are 8, cos 2 pi is 1 and sine 2 pi is 0. So it is 1 plus 0, so your answer is 16. So you see how easy it is to find the powers of complex number using De Moivre's theorem. De Moivre's theorem says that your cos theta plus iota theta power n comes inside here. This is your De Moivre's theorem basically. Okay, so by De Moivre's theorem you can find any power of your z. If you don't convert and consider this one and find the power 8, you see it will take lot of time, because first you will multiply 1 plus iota with itself and you will get z square. Then you multiply z square with z square, it will give you z4. Then you multiply z4 by z4 again, you will get z8, right? And if I give you z to the power 20, it will take lot of time. But De Moivre's theorem will not take any time. If you have z to the power 20 here, you multiply 20 inside, 20 inside. 4 5s of 20, you will get cos 5 pi plus iota sine 5 pi. You will get the answer. Okay, so finding the powers is very easy by De Moivre's theorem. So go through this lecture, only look at those things which I covered and try to solve some examples, some practice problems. Lot of problems are given in this file. I will upload this one and the video as well. Go through this video and see if you have any question we can discuss. Alright, till then, bye from me. Assalam.